good boy, Ted. We don't care what anybody else
That's a
does.
little
I'm gonna,
No, I think you got sick on him.
That's your agent for different.
I have no skillet.
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't request them twice, I requested them one time, and I have those.
I used to look him for him, but I didn't.
That's a difference. So you requested it January of last year, 2011, and you requested December 3rd of 2011. So most of the December 3rd, 2011.
And I'm telling you again, I haven't had these at home, I know I requested them last week, but I had these, and I requested them twice.
Well, you can show them to the manuals. I believe, right here, and the plan is right below.
And I have that, and they go sign his name on it and dated it.
Well, you have one similar for the one, but anyway. Just, yeah, this is the first time I've seen you to talk to you, 35 days on this. It's the, check receipt, that everybody gets every month. Should be getting.
I'm not going to send you a check.
Well, that's because of the check writing, the rule on paying with the W-4s again. I hope I didn't have to go over it again.
Whose rule?
The IRS's rule on that everybody has to turn in, okay, just like, for instance, you got a yellow piece of paper this last month that's an economic interest form from the county, correct?
Correct.
So you turned that in, right? Or you plan to go back first? Okay, well
Because
now,
they require that every year.
okay, now, since we have been contacted by the IRS
Did you
twice,
write it
we had
yourself?
2 compliance checks, we were told both times that everybody has to fill out one I-9 form once. It's a mandated requirement. It can be up to a $10,000 fine for the employer if it isn't on file.
And I have done that.
Okay, now, everybody's done that except one. Okay, now, every year, we also have to have, just in case you move, or you change dependents, or you change your name, you get married, your name's different, we have to have on file a W-4 form. It's just what we were told twice.
I don't believe that, Jim, and I know that that's not true. You did not have to fill out new W-4s, but I did that also, and I gave it to Rick Erickson twice.
Okay, that you did now, but that's,
I wrote status quo on it. If you don't know what that means, look it up, and I signed it and I dated it. And that's all you
listen,
need.
bubble butt, I already know what all of that means, thank you very much. Have a
This is
nice
what one
day.
looks like when
Fill out
it's,
a W-4, or don't get
so all you
paid,
guys
easy.
do,
And let me see that form a minute, Jim.
this is Richard's form, so.
Richard, can I see that form of yours for a moment?
I have another one here.
So I'll read it to you guys who don't seem to
Well,
understand.
listen, I'm
This
not
is the federal one though.
gonna argue about it on here, okay?
It's not an argument,
This
Jim.
is
You
what we-
guys are wrong. You need to write the checks. The form says right on it.
If the IRS.
If there's a
didn't-
change,
if you-
it's my responsibility to let you know of the change.
Okay, well, fill it out or don't get paid.
That's just as simple as it's gonna be.
That's the
We need
federal
one.
Can I get the contact information for this IRS agent that you get?
Yeah,
where's this letter that
Give you both of them.
Let me read it to you again.
Be great.
Consider
We'll
completing a
give you
new
both of them.
form each
Don't fill
year
it out,
if
Miss
your
Shirley.
personal or financial situation changes.
Then don't fill it out and you won't get paid, this is easy.
That's what they told us we have to do.
It's
okay?
not really,
Who's
not
they?
a problem.
The 2 different IRS people that we talked
Give
to.
me their names, because I like to call them
Well,
and have
You've been
them.
given one already, we'll give you the second one, we have to give you the first one too, okay? Don't wanna argue with you about it. You didn't have trouble filling out the economic interest form, did you?
I don't have
filled
a problem
out?
filling out any forms that are required. It is not required of me to fill out a W-4 every year for Mike Erickson, and I am not going to do it for him.
Don't fill it out
Don't.
and you won't get paid.
Just get one of
It's
them white
easy.
papers
Well,
every
the
month.
IRS will come talk to you again, because that's not their position.
Well, that's nice.
Their
Let's
position
do
is
that.
if you don't have a W-4 on file, then you take out the most
The
withholdings allowable.
position today is fill out the form, you don't get paid. You don't.
Is that
get
your
paid.
position, Mike?
Absolutely,
Well,
absolutely,
I'm glad
Well,
you're,
anyway,
glad you're owning it, that it's
is the
your
position.
position, not the IRS's position.
absolutely. That is the
Ladies and
position.
gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for coming to tonight's meeting. Go ahead and call this meeting to order. And, Mike, if you would, if your recorder's running,
Yeah, we'll do
we'll go ahead, could you do the roll call for us, please?
it. Mayor White,
Present.
trustees White,
Here.
Valier,
Here.
Tinkelman,
Right.
Krogman,
Present.
Shetter is absent, Waterman.
Here.
Clerk's present, you have a quorum.
Thank you, John. And would everybody like to join me in the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, if everybody has had time to look at, we so far have a letter from a meeting that we attended with the safety department over at Kelowna. If you want to go ahead and have the Kelowna do our policing force this year and our mosquito force this year. Need a motion on that?
What is the cost of that?
The cost of mosquito spraying is whatever whatever the ingredients are, and then whatever they're paying, that gets paid per hour coming out, and we pay for that.
What did we spend last year on mosquito spray?
1230.
How much?
1,230.
It was like I think it was $95, $98 a spray each time they come out.
So this contract is for both police protection and mosquito spray?
Yeah, well, we've got an intergovernmental agreement with them, and it's two.
Well, no, well, I just wanted to make sure I was understanding what we were being asked about.
You can, I've just got them grouped up there. If you want to vote on the one at a time, you can. If you vote on both of them, to work with one to have them provide both of those services for us this year. That's basically the question or the motion that would be needed.
I'd like to make a motion that we definitely engage in with the mosquito contract for the moment, and then have a discussion on the police one.
Okay. Can we get a second on that mosquito contract?
Second.
All in favor? We'd need a roll call vote on that, since it'll be a money. Motion made by Leo, second by Chad,
By Leo, second by Chad,
to accept the
to
mosquito.
continue the mosquito.
Do we have any, say-so as to how many times they do this mosquito? Are they just gonna do whatever they wanna do, just keep going? Is there,
What
is
they
there a
typically
cap
done,
on the mosquito contract?
no, what they typically
I'm
done
not
is
talking
the
to
same
you.
thing. That is the shit that you're talking to me and,
Let me answer for you.
And I'm about to ask to have you remove the room,
Oh, do
because
that.
that's the third time that you've been
Oh,
totally
do
disrespectful
that,
of me.
because I'm not going anywhere.
Mike, hold on.
Really?
Somebody like you.
Let me,
Mine,
since
that's,
there's animosity, well,
you
Steve,
will be out.
hey Steve, you guys can do that if you want, but this lady right here, you guys let run her mouth for as long as she wants, and that's fine, so let me answer your question. Please address me with your question.
First of all, I'm not running my mouth, I'm asking questions that are pertinent to the business of the village of Cleveland. That's all I've ever done since I walked in this room
Could you
today.
respectfully ask a question then?
I just did, I asked, is there a cap on this mosquito contract, or are we just gonna sign a blank contract and they're gonna do whatever they wanna do whenever they wanna do it?
You could ask Leo.
I'm
Let
not,
let me give
Chad-
it to Leo.
Chad just pointed out that we have in the appropriations ordinance $2,500 for last year that we did.
Right.
So
We spent half.
anything over that, we'd have to reinforce it, and we spent half of it last year, so.
And what they typically do is they do it when they do their own city, in their own town, they come out here and they spray for us also. It's kind of on a as-needed base, it's not on a every Thursday, whether it rains or whether it's been dry for 6 weeks in a row. It's on an as-needed base, it always has been since we've been working with them. They've been real good working with us on that. Now, if for some reason we feel that they're coming out here way too much, somebody can contact me, and I will definitely give Rick Crew their Department of, help me out back there, what's your calling guy? The Department of, Public Works Department, he's Public Works Director. He'd be more than happy not to spray, if you think we're, having it done way too much. So,
Well, usually it's the opposite direction, our residents that complain that the mosquitoes are just horrendous and nothing's being done about it.
well, then if we
That's
need
when you
more,
know
the
how
same
much
thing
you
can
have
apply the other way.
appropriated. So, I'm good with that.
So we've got a motion on the table. Any other discussion on the case?
The continuation.
Do they always spray their village that late at night also? Do they spray late there also?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what time they spray, what time are they getting down here?
It's usually late at night.
8:30,
It varies.
Can I say something? Living in Kelowna, they had always done it in the evening.
Yeah,
Is that
Yeah,
practice?
it was,
7 or so, 6,
it was,
7.
yeah, between, actually, I would say, when they got out to us, it was between 7 and 8.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they came out here after they got done with
That'd be my guess.
Yeah.
I think they try to get them when mosquitoes are flying around the most.
Yeah, they try to get them, I know that they try to get them at night when they're up around the streetlights and whatnot.
Mhm.
And spray is the most effective way of killing them, but it's the best legal way of doing it without using, things that are way too potent, too powerful. So we have a motion on the table. Is there any more discussion? If not, I'll do a roll call on mosquito contract.
On the continuation of the mosquito contract. Trustees White,
Yes.
Valier,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Krogman,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
passed unanimous.
Thank you. Gordon? And then, Leo, would you like to start some conversation?
Well, I guess, and this is the first I've seen of it, but, my only comment on this is like double what it was, is that correct?
Right.
And did they give you a reason why, other than some of the things that they've talked about here that they wanna double it?
Yeah, the biggest reason why is, we haven't been keeping up with, I guess we'd either call it inflation or different costs that they've had. Their budget has went in the last 3 years from 820,000 to just a little over $1 million. And what we used to have that we didn't look into until here this last couple of months also was that the AC, the Animal Control Officer, or ACO, was an additional check given to Maria for $100. So in some years past, we paid the police $265, and then, or less, whatever it was at that time, and then $100 to Maria for the animal control. Where when I came on here, somehow or another, that got slipped through the cracks, and we were getting the ACO for free. Basically been doing whatever work he's been doing, for us, for nothing. So
Okay.
so if we were at $300 and $100 that we should have been paying, but we were only paying $3, we were actually, should have been paying $4. Actually, we've got the ACO is included in there, and, approximately $200 increase, for the rest of it.
Okay, well, I just did some rough figures there, and we're looking at,
Some other rough figures that Mayor McDaniel and I looked at was the actual costs. Proportionately, if we were to pay what they pay per person, it would be closer to $3,000 a month instead of $600. So,
just basing things and just for perspective, if you have 3 patrols and you use an hour up per patrol, 21 hours a week times 4, rough figures, just like $700 at $80 an hour.
mhm.
So I don't think it's outrageous by any stretch. I'm just trying to put things in perspective, I guess. And then when you throw this in about the animal ordinance thing, it makes a lot of sense. And we haven't been
Right.
paying for any costs along those lines.
So they were.
I think it's a good deal myself, but
Yeah, actually, they were most generous, by coming up with that figure, because, $1 million divided by 5,000, take 188, divide that by 5,000, and multiply that times, you know, come
I'm
up
sure,
to zero.
well, on a per resident basis, it's
Right, right.
actually pretty cheap for us to be able to.
But
do
since
that.
we don't have businesses and we don't have the population, we don't have the same kind of tax money coming in, so they're being generous to us and not gouging, and then we're at the same time trying to be as fair with them as we can. Enough to allow.
Our appropriations though is not quite that much, I believe.
No,
And we will need
my
to change
suggestion-
something on that.
yeah, my suggestion on that is that it,
I mean, just the 600 a month is $7,200, and if they're talking anything that they would bill us for outside of that, we need to put some kind of cushion in it then also.
well, my suggestion that I have would be to double it and then take 5,000 off of buildings and grounds. And
Sensible.
then
Sensible.
you won't see any kind of a problem in there by doing it. That's one idea.
Sure.
Down here at the bottom, what's it gonna cost when we have them here at the meetings, keep Mike in line?
When we have them at the meetings, that's gonna be additional.
Well, and they're talking off-duty, but it would still be payrolled through Kelowna? Or would that be a separate contract?
What I'm reading is that we pay him direct.
We would just pay the officer directly.
18 an hour? Is that what?
It's what we talked about, because of show-up time, they have a union out there, a minimum of 2 hours at their time and a half rate. So it's approximately $50 to have an officer here
Okay.
at meetings, if we need one here. And then,
Okay, an extra month's worth. Okay. All right. And then they would also bill us for any activities that are down here that involve Cleveland specifically, that would end up in court.
that would be, yeah, like for instance, there was a couple over there where a man shot his wife, shot himself, and that ended up being a lot more than normal. If it's just normal, work time where they get home, go back to the office, they're on duty, they're filling out a report, and something that's, it's not excessive, that's all gonna be covered. But if we have a,
You know, they give
Something
an
real
example here,
extreme.
but
Yeah.
Okay.
then it would be,
And they're saying routine calls for service and court time would be included, but they're talking about the special assignments, that is.
and we had, at one time too, back in '97, a couple other times when we've had floods where we've had to have officers posted at the top of the hill, that would be it. Anything like that.
No, it's probably a good idea to
But other than that, they
incorporate
would
the
pretty much
double
cover
figure into the
all general stuff.
appropriations and.
Right, that's probably one of the biggest changes on the line item.
And that's maybe next discussion here, so, all right.
Make a motion to do the Kelowna Police Department.
Got a motion by Chad,
I'll
any other,
second
second by Steve Ballard. Any other discussion on that? Then can we go ahead and do a roll call vote on that?
Yeah, on a motion to,
Motion to accept the police contract?
that police contract.
With
Let's see,
Kelowna.
White,
Yes.
Valier,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Krogman,
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
Passed unanimous.
Thank you, Gordon. And that moves us down to the appropriation ordinance, next item on the agenda. Any other changes, anything you'd like to see go up, go down?
Well, I think just like your suggestion with the police contract, I mean, we just approved something, we definitely gotta change it. And that is, which section here, under, oh, there it is, it's under a separate accounting of the police fund itself. We, I guess I'm looking for something here about animal control, we didn't have that separated out in anything.
Right, we did, yeah, we didn't have that on there before. I'm sure he well, I'm gonna call him his nickname, but the animal control officer, just hasn't minded coming out here, just didn't know that the city wasn't being reimbursed for him, being paid for his services.
Well, and I see no real reason, I mean, we were definitely under our appropriation significantly, I mean, based on the records here, we're showing, and is this the number here that's, the totals, am I reading that right, 80,936, so we were just shy 81,000 for totals out.
And that
So-
was, and that was because we had extreme expenditures again last year
Right.
with, road project and,
And so that's MFT, which is separate anyway, that,
Right.
I'm just looking at the concept of, I guess I like your thought process along the lines of doubling the police fund, so that we're at least covered and don't have to come back in and re-vote on something to change the appropriation. So if we were to make that, say, 12, that should cover us adequately, I would think. That's over $5,000 that we have for extraneous expenses.
We had it at 5.
Yeah. Well, and we're looking at 7,200 just for the $600 a month contract. So we up that to 12.
and,
We were over on the audit fund.
yes, I think we were over on that one. Yes, on that one.
So that one needs to be addressed. And then,
We were over on utilities also. Utilities we were over.
yeah,
So what's
just,
the can I ask what the miscellaneous is?
That's everything that isn't, itemized on here.
Can you give an example?
Gas supplies they buy every month.
Gas for the truck. Most all of his supplies should be categorized.
no, office supplies is a separate account
Yeah,
here, so.
okay.
We were under on that.
$7,400 on miscellaneous, but
Pardon?
we appropriated 74, we was over it by 85, and I don't know what it is. I'm just curious.
Without it being itemized, I couldn't tell you right here, right now either.
We spent almost $600 on Murphy's oil soap for the floor last year.
$600.
Yeah, 557 for cleaning supply.
We had that much. I was thinking it was like $70-some. I think he's got a typo on that one.
I would hope so.
Okay, extreme.
Because, yeah, because
Extreme.
last year there was $76 paid for, cleaning supplies. And I'm thinking he's got an extra zero in there or something.
We need to clean up some numbers there.
Is that including wages for cleaning too, maybe?
That could be.
It should be listed that way, but.
Yeah,
It'd be nice to have it broke out.
well,
a
that
bit
probably
cleaner.
could be.
It would be.
That probably, it would have to be because there's no way we'd spend that much on supplies. It was the last time he showed me May, June, or July of last year, it was $76 for the whole year. So that would have to be, that would assume that's wages in there too.
It should be listed
I
that
know
way.
wages are included on building and grounds on, as far as mowing, and that is not, cleaning in here would have to be different.
I'm curious too, because we've got two different figures here on building and grounds. One's 15,000 and then 742, and then you got a notation over the side for 90 hours of mowing. Is that the figure, what it cost us for wages to mow?
He added the 90 hours of mowing into the building and grounds, and
Yeah, and
then,
that's fine, I don't have, I just wanted to clarify that that's exactly what that was, that's the labor to do the mowing.
right,
And then on top of that, we had the cost of
all
the
the equipment.
exchange and stuff, which was, we just did that last month, wasn't it? We swapped that out. 800, is it?
Yeah.
And that's, and that 800 would be part of the 15,000 then?
I'm I'm assuming it would be in there also, and then that, also, he told me that his old playground equipment is in that 15,000 too. So that number
That
spent,
was 12 something, right?
yeah, it was 12 something, then another 1,000 for the month.
So
So like
we're down
13
to.
something. And then 8, and then 7 would be, put us at 15. And then on the fundraiser, he's just got that as monies, the Cane Man monies, it was appropriated, and then monies, that would be almost like a double listing, I would think.
Yeah, cause
You know, you can't really do it both
Park-
ways. I mean,
the
we
park
pay out.
equipment was supposed to come out of fundraising,
Right.
but not building and ground.
But I don't know, let's see, when the building is grounds, okay, you got put a 15 in there too.
It's pretty well messed up.
He's just not here to explain it.
Well,
But
you
these
got
itemized.
some strange notations over here to the side because we've got a personal property and you're showing a -9%, but the number's in a positive, and then you're showing -30 that it's
Okay, now-
actually negative.
What I got on that one, starting on the incomes there, a little more than halfway down the sheet, they're
Yeah.
looking at MFT.
Yeah,
We received this year 6312. The change from last year was, it was $1,193 more last year. I asked him why he didn't have the 1193 plus 63, have that total there, and then a subtraction. But anyway, last year there was $1,100 more dollars, so there would have been 74 or something, or 70, almost 7,500 received in MFT. And that's because of the population drop and the numbers of people that are not here. The same thing with the sales tax. We
Yep.
received $393 this year. Last year, it would have been 1,000 we
okay,
received. Income tax, we received 16,000 this year. Last year it was 23,000,
Yep.
closer to. Personal property, down 9%, only $46 difference than last year. Telecommunication tax is up. That started out at 300 was the first check. This last check that we received was $1,200. That one has been steady at $800 to $900, and now it's climbed to $1,200 this month. That's a big plus for us, changing over
Sure.
from the AT&T.
Yep.
State use tax, he's got plus on that, so, the 241, if it's up 10, then it would have been, that much less, I guess, last year. Not available, not available, property taxes went up, properties went up, the fundraiser went down, interest totals, that's on the checking accounts and both of the CDs down because the interest rates are down.
Yep. Okay. And so he's showing that our total income was the $7,500, which is 11% lower than it was the previous year.
Right. And those figures will kind of stay the same. They're gonna be, since population is different.
Well, we shouldn't see anything really drastically different with the MFT, the sales tax, or the income tax,
I would guess that those should remain the same now.
which is the numbers that he's got for the incomes for this
Right.
past fiscal year here.
And especially in 1 year, I don't think there's gonna be a big change.
Okay, well, see, that's what's weird about it. He's showing a positive number and a change from last year, but he's showing that it's down 11%. Well, actually, we're showing that the total income was 60,800 something. Okay. And based on what we're seeing here, I mean, the only real change, and again, I'll take your suggestion, Jim, that if we move from building and grounds, which is probably overfunded,
Right.
and move, and if we need 7,000 from that. So if we drop that down to
33.
33, and then increase the police fund to 12, I would suggest somewhere along the line, we need to have a little bit better accounting of the miscellaneous expenses so that we can maybe get a handle on what's going on with that. And then on the flip side of it, we only had 500 in the audit fund, but we spent 630, so we were kinda out of compliance here that we need to pay attention to.
Right, well, in years past, for quite a few years, it was always $400.
Yeah, and it's just something we need to be aware of.
Right.
As Richard suggested too, our utilities were, higher, and that's probably only gonna keep going up. I don't
Our
know where else we
insurance,
can,
our insurance was higher also.
Yeah, that's been going up every year.
well, and all these things, we need to figure out where we're gonna pull things out of, apparently here. Because like the,
Miscellaneous has got me bothered, cause everything's accounted for, there's no, we should just do away with miscellaneous. Take the 7,000 out of there, leave it at 400. Put the 7,000
well,
on
and
to
we,
the police.
yeah, well, and then do some better accounting of where
Yeah,
these.
cause you got
where-
salaries, you got
We've
office
already got,
supplies.
yeah, we got printing and
We
publications.
spent 1,300 on office supplies on top of the cleaning supplies. Miscellaneous, there's no reason to even be there,
Okay.
cause everything's,
You should fall into some category.
yeah, miscellaneous
Somewhere.
would fall into a category of either salaries, office supplies, utilities, cleaning, yeah, building and
Question, Mike,
grounds.
the printing and publishing, is that for us to do the appropriations ordinance and, any of the other things that we have to publish in the, newspapers?
Okay, part of that printing and publish was, Rocky River last year, part of that is, yeah, the, you know, whatever things we got put in
Like
paper,
the-
yes.
Why wouldn't that be under fundraiser?
Yeah.
Well, just on the printing, because of the printing and
Oh,
publishing, money came in on the fundraiser, but it went out under a different category.
I think we should take the 7,000 out of miscellaneous, leave it at 400. Somebody needs to buy an ink pen or something, but
You can do that too.
On
there's
that?
no reason to
Well,
have.
and, okay,
We
using
spent,
that logic, then we can up the utilities and the, insurance accordingly.
Insurance is gonna go up too.
Which one?
You said insurance.
Yeah, insurance has to go up.
The Henry County Disaster Unit, wasn't that the one that we disbanded, or we're no longer a part of, so we got $1,200 there. The flood emergencies, I don't think we should drop that at all. In fact, I'd say maybe round that up to 3,000. So we got some even numbers around here, and then anything that, you know, like I said, you guys got a good idea, but just take the miscellaneous, drop it down to the 400 or whatever.
$400, yeah.
Take that 7,000 and split it up amongst, how much over were we on the utilities?
414.
If we bounce that,
We'll put 1,000 there.
I was gonna say at least 1,000, maybe 2. And then the insurance,
Okay, you want miscellaneous going down to?
yeah, down to 7,
To 400.
I'm sorry,
It
yeah.
goes to 400.
Yeah, we're gonna
Take that 7,000,
Okay, and where does the 7,000 go?
Well, we're gonna split it up amongst the utilities. And Steve just suggested an extra 1,000, but I wonder if we shouldn't do 2. So make that 8,000.
Okay, hang on a second. Utilities, okay, utilities, you want to go from 6 to 8.
6 to 8. And then insurance,
Okay, that leaves me with 5,000 then.
From 4 to 5 or?
4 to 5 is probably good, wouldn't it?
and we haven't been told by IML or whatever that outfit is that we got any big increases coming
No,
with that. have we?
no, no.
And I'd say, yeah, we just, because we were over slightly there, and I don't know what else we would have had to call for. And we just bumped that up to 5. And
Okay, change that from 4 then
4
to
to
5.
Yes, you good.
Okay, and I still
Three
have
used out of the 7, you
$4,000
got
then
4
from
left,
the,
right?
from your 7, I've still got 4,000 then to work with.
and then
put
we
that
had-
up to the police, and you wouldn't have to take so much on
Well.
building and grounds.
Yeah, that's true too, because then we'd still have some room to do some stuff around here with, boat ramp and the park and any of the other stuff that we want to take care of this year.
We're gonna take the police up to 12, then?
Yeah, but we took all of that from,
What are you doing there?
Took all of that
well,
from building and grounds.
yeah,
Well, we could We got that.
Well, I'm not, but these are just numbers to look at here.
Right.
We were down to 33.
And we need to raise that audit fund up too, just in case.
Well, if we take the,
We think like put it up to 1,000 something.
we take the building and grounds and put that back at 35, and then take 2 from the 7 that we just did. So you're looking at 5 from the building and grounds, and 2 from the miscellaneous.
I never knew.
That's 7.
All right, now you've got me confused.
Well, we're not-
All right,
We're not changing the 12,000 on the police fund.
okay, that stays the same.
Right, but instead of moving all 7 from the building and grounds, we're only gonna move 5. And then
Okay,
Take
so
2,
so we're gonna change building and grounds to 35. instead of-
35,
35,000.
right.
All right, so then now I have, from what you've taken out of miscellaneous, all right, now I'm looking at $6,000 then, what I have there.
Well, utilities would be at 8, which
Okay.
is 2,000 from
All right, now,
the 7.
right, with utilities, all right, but you've taken
Taken
from,
seven.
you've taken from,
So you're taking 2
you've
out of
taken
the
from
7
building and
add
grounds,
that to
you've
the
taken
police.
5, correct,
okay,
yes.
and you've taken 7 from miscellaneous.
We've got
So
5
you've
down
taken
to
out,
the-
so you've taken out 12,
Yep,
all right, you've put, 7 of that to, police fund.
correct.
Okay, so
So
that
that's
leaves,
plus
that
7.
still leaves then 5
Right.
left.
You've
all right,
used
you
5
use
to
two of that,
2,000
Then
left, right?
you put,
2 of that to utilities,
okay, 2 of that to utilities, making that 8,
correct.
and dropping what you've got still hanging out there down to 3.
Yep.
Insurance went up 1,000.
Oh, and insurance went up 1,000,
So we're still at
So
2,000
we still
left.
so
got
now you're at 2.
And that leaves us then with,
We need to add the-
Well,
the audit fund, like Richard said, because all that cost has gone up also.
Right.
Because the,
Put 1,000 there, you think? Make that 1,500.
that sounds reasonable, that way we
And
can,
where's the audit?
on the second page.
Oh, I'm on second page, okay.
And you get 1,000 left.
All right, you're changing that then from 500 to
Right.
1,500,
Right.
okay?
Now, did we account for removing the 1,200 from the Henry County Disaster Unit yet?
No.
Okay,
So,
so-
but you could just
All
drop
right,
that right down to flood
All right, but
emergency
yeah,
too.
all right,
Okay,
yeah,
all right.
you've still got
Okay.
1,000, you've still got 1,000 from what you've taken away from the others.
All right, just
Yeah.
a little notation based on what Richard said, scratch the Henry County Disaster Unit from it altogether,
Okay,
Drop
and
it
move
down.
that figure down to flood emergencies.
all right, so that is,
So that'll be 3840 or whatever.
40,
Right at
yeah,
36.
okay, make emergency then 3840,
Yep,
Okay, that's right there.
and scratch
You still got
Henry
1,000
County
left.
Disaster Unit completely.
still got 1,000 left that we
And
can
still got
use.
1,000 left.
Okay, now, and let's talk about the professional services, because that's where our municipal attorney or any other information comes into play. And his claim that,
50 hours.
500 to have him come to a meeting, so he can only show up for a few minutes.
Not 2 meetings a year.
well, you know, we need to seriously talk about that.
Better put
Because
another
apparently we're gonna
1,000
be
Gonna add the 1,000
underfunded big time, or have to rule a new appropriation ordinance out of the deal.
Yes.
Well, let's put the
1,000 there.
1,000 there then.
Put the 1,000 in there, then you,
Alright,
then everything's,
that tidies it up then.
yeah, then
And
you're
we
set.
That clears it
seriously
up.
need to figure that concept out here too, so. But that makes the numbers come up right, should anyway,
Without any increase,
Yeah.
without
I
any,
understand.
which is, I'm assuming that's
that was the
the goal is no
That was the goal,
increase.
yes.
Okay,
because we were still under appropriations by a third. Which is good. Okay.
So,
I vote on that.
any other discussion? If not, if you get a motion on the,
Make a motion to accept the,
motion made by Steve, accept appropriation ordinance.
With the changes.
yeah, the changes to the.
Just
okay.
With the changes.
With the changes.
Just for perspective, and I wanna run down the list one time, so we're all on the
Yes.
same page.
Well, great idea.
We got, salaries at 10, office supplies at 2, utilities will now be 8, cleaning's at 700, professional services is gonna go to 3.
Yes,
And then we've got 8, 5, 35, 15, 5, and 7,400, and 7,400 is not there at all anymore.
400 is there.
400.
400 is still there.
And then the disaster fund is the
3840.
subtotal over to the side. Street fund stayed the same at 35,
Police is 12,000.
police at 12, audit jumped to 15, and mosquito spraying stayed at 25.
That's what I have.
Alright, so we're all on the same page, alright.
Okay.
Motion made by Steve, we'll get a second on that.
I second it.
Second by Sherry Goodman. Okay, clerk ready, we'll do a roll call on that.
Okay. We'll call an appropriation as stated,
New change.
with the changes.
Everybody understand
Okay, trustee White? Meliger?
Yes,
Hinkleman?
Yes.
Krugman?
Yes.
Waterman? Yes. Passed unanimous.
that?
And, this will be posted for next month.
Yeah,
Or,
because that's to go to the county, it'll also be posted out here. So it'll be filed and posted at the county.
yeah.
Next item is the spring is approaching us, if it's another date that doesn't change everything around and turn it into winter in May. I don't know if you're gonna have cleanup day again sometime in May.
I think it works out really well myself. We did it the weekend before Memorial Weekend last year, or after? It was before, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was before, and it ended on Memorial Weekend.
Oh.
That way we got the extra weekend. Yeah, we got to keep it because they
So we
didn't pick
did
it
it
up until.
starting the Monday before, and then ending Memorial holiday.
Yes.
Did we go through last year? Did we go through, contracts?
We went through, I believe, through the county, I think. I don't remember for sure who we went to. We went to
Yes,
Hopper.
Shannon, about cleanup?
Well, I was wondering about the yard sales too, because we were gonna do it last year, but it never got voted on.
Yeah,
It was in May.
I don't care if we have yard sale along with it too, a lot of times, we've got a yard sale the week before, and cleanup the week after. We did sell at the yard sale.
Right, the yard sale before and the cleanup afterward, that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Good enough, so we throw it away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that is the way we did it. But we had, what we had was two hoppers. We had one came in on a Monday, and then we had Wednesday, emptied, and the second one come in.
I'm just wondering about who to contact, because I know, Tom has offered some pretty good deals last time. And we're actually going through them now for
Yeah.
our local rates.
Right.
Do they have the large hoppers or not?
Don't know what they've got.
I don't think Conrad does.
Conrad doesn't have the large hoppers, we probably can't go through them.
Well, I think that's why we ended up with two. We ended up with, well, no, that's why we ended up with two. They brought a small hopper Monday, and then drug it out of here Wednesday and brought us another hopper. So we had the equivalent of a large one.
So Conrad did do it last
And I don't know for sure who did last year. I believe they did,
You
yes.
just can pick whoever you want.
year. Well, that's where I was going with it, is that just trying to figure out how this worked out best.
You
What
put a
gets,
tap on that too, of two dumpsters.
yeah, yeah, I agree with that, because we've seen
Well, it
too
is.
much,
With this being the May calendar,
yeah.
the first is on a Tuesday, Mother's Day is on the 13th, probably where
Memorial is the 28th.
Well, then, yeah, it could be.
So if we did it from the 21st, that, the Monday, so they bring the dumpster out on the 21st and then pick it up on the 29th?
Yeah, they pick it up on Tuesday night.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And then you could have a yard sale.
And if you guys want to do a yard
18th or
sale, yeah,
19th
set
if you
something
want.
up for,
A single one, a small single one, you're gonna end up with, you're gonna have junk all over the ground.
well, that's why I'm not
Now
too
you're
sure.
gonna need two big dumpsters.
We'll almost have to go through county then, probably, right?
Yeah, or Allied, or Millennium. I think Millennium did it a couple of years. We used them a couple times, I thought.
We had trouble one year because we tried to get them to come back out here.
They,
and then
well, they didn't pick it up because it was over full,
Loader
and
tractor.
then people just kept throwing stuff in, and
Can they bring them both out at the same time?
could.
I've never called and.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've never handled it, so.
Do you want to?
Yeah.
No, not specifically.
Yeah, and the problem with that is then you're gonna end up
Well,
blocking it.
yeah, and we had stuff piled up in between, yeah, no,
Because there
yeah.
just isn't room.
You guys wanna go with the week of the 21st to start with for a day? And we'll go with my cleanup day. We got a motion on the day.
When Cologne is doing their yard sale?
Second on that day, we get a second on the 21st. I'll make a motion on the week if we're gonna do it first
Motion to do the cleanup
on
on
the 21st.
21st of May.
A second on that motion.
Well, it'll be the 21st through the 29th.
To the
21st through the 29th, that's what I.
Second by Leo,
that's
I'll
what I was
take it.
gonna ask, is through what?
All in favor of that week? All opposed? So that's the
So
week
we
we're
got
gonna do.
the dates out, we just need to get the details about the dumpster out here.
Who made that motion in second?
Chad.
Chad, we vote it,
Chad.
motion on the second, 21 to 29. Anybody will make a motion and have a yard sale also, townwide yard sale? Somebody does, go ahead, if not,
Can have them, I guess. Don't matter.
You put this in the paper or anything? And we're having.
we have in the past, there's been a year when we
You
didn't.
don't want to put cleanup in the paper.
Is that,
People from Lower Moreland,
is that what you guys are looking for, something that would be advertised by the village?
That's
Yeah,
right.
there was some people on top of the hill even last year that were looking for the Cleveland yard sales to happen. And to have the advertising, it brings people out here. You know, they do look in the newspaper and it does bring them out here. I've put signs all the way up on John Deere Road and, you know, it's brought them out here.
And if I might, if you have people that are gonna do it, but what
Right.
we've had before, is, you know, people get angry when they come out and go, Cleveland yard sale, you know, Bill and Rita's the only one that got a yard sale, what's going on here?
Right.
And I think it was advertised last year.
No, it wasn't.
But,
No,
No,
not
it's the
last,
first
it was
year,
the
Bill,
year
we did
before.
Yeah.
we had in the
Yes.
past.
Because they
Is
come
there a
out.
way to let the village residents know, like a month in advance, so they can prepare for this? Because if you tell them like the day before, they're not gonna be ready for a garage sale.
Right, like if we could
You
put
put
a
it on the
flyer
sign up
out
there that there's
or
gonna be
put
one
a
coming up
sign.
this
if we're gonna
weekend.
have one, you wanna know if we can post it 3-4 weeks ahead.
Yeah,
So that we can get ready for it.
just so the village people know that it's coming.
So somebody wanna take care of if we're gonna do that. Need somebody to
Rick's
take
got
care
all the
of
letters for the sign, so good luck.
Calling the dispatch to, get the ad in. Anybody wanna volunteer to do that?
You wanna make a suggestion of
Out
what,
here
when you
or-
want it?
When
Do
do
you want it in May or do you wanna wait till
Well, we
June?
want it in May, but I mean, if you wait till May 17th to put it up there and it's the papers, the residents aren't gonna have 24 hours to get their stuff ready. You need to let the residents know
Need to advertise
earlier.
the first of May, that you're gonna do it. Or now.
Well, I wouldn't put it in the paper that early, because people don't look at it that early.
Well, we could
I'm just saying for the
tentatively
people-
set it for here in the village and let everybody
Yeah,
in the
just say a
village
flyer
know,
would
and
be
then
better,
post it
right?
Yeah,
before
flyer.
in the papers.
You
And
don't have
that's,
Yeah, I could make them.
Make a flyer on the first of May, post it.
If you're gonna let the residents know about the cleanup, you could maybe put something on there about the
Or you gotta
garage
do
sale.
the third.
Yeah.
and it'd be the third already, so if we did something like that,
I
that
don't
would
think
make
we
sense.
need to publish that garden,
I don't-
just that clean out.
I don't have a
in the
problem with it at all.
newspaper.
I'm not against it at all. I'm sure I want to participate, but.
Iowa license plate.
Yeah,
We're not.
Put the flyer out on the cleanup
What do you
and then
girls
put the
think?
flyer
You wanna
out
do-
on the same page
Clean up
about the
right
yard sale.
just before the
You don't
dumpster
wanna
gets
put-
here, the weekend of the 18th, 19th,
That's fine, and if
and then the dumpster will get here on the 21st. for
If
anything
Lisa
you
would
want.
like to make note of that too for the newspaper, that'd be a little advance notice too.
Well, we just don't want to advertise it, don't we?
No.
Okay.
No,
No, the garage sale.
Okay.
no, we already got it.
Yard sale, people, how many days do you want a yard sale? Thursday, Friday, Saturday? Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
That's gonna be what,
17th,
17th,
18th, and 19th will be yard sale days.
Yard sale,
Are you the only one?
Tentatively,
Probably.
I'd like to, somebody that wants to get in charge of getting that ad, and please get
Okay,
on
how much,
that.
how much money we need to decide, how much money we're just gonna.
Are you gonna have
Well-
people sign, who's gonna have the yard sale? I
That'd
think
be a good
that'd be
idea.
a good idea to see who's gonna have the yard sale.
Anybody that has interest in it.
Well, I think 2 years
contact
ago,
all the trustees.
wasn't it, it rained the
Get a
whole time we
list
were
of-
trying to do our yard sale days,
Yeah.
I think?
You know, if you knew who was doing it, you could have it at each garage sale so they know which houses to go to. Who else
Okay,
got
back
nice
to
stuff.
the hopper.
It's in there, it's about a
You've
$100.
got, I heard you say what we have 11 hoppers.
That's what we've always done.
Okay, and I'm not sure what the price is, so we'll just go with 2 hoppers.
We're like
whatever the price is.
400 apiece.
Okay.
But they could have went up, might have.
well, that's fine, but yeah, we definitely need to limit it to two, and hopefully we can get residents that can actually just.
Charging extra now for
Okay, now that's,
diesel fuel to pick up your garbage.
Make some calls and price them out, shop it out,
see, anybody in the car, we have
because
just.
you gotta,
Yeah.
that's what you call ahead of time, and reserve them, that way there's no surprises.
Now, this will be under miscellaneous, so if this goes over $400.
Well, why wouldn't that come out of building and grounds? though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So you
guess I would-
categorize it as that,
You can.
whatever you wanna do.
You can, whatever you want.
This is probably something that goes.
Well, and that's what we need to, I guess, define that. I would rather see that come out of building and grounds.
All right, 2 hoppers in, we need a motion on that, then we get a motion to get 2 hoppers. Steve talked about it.
3 times a
Get a
year.
motion for you, Steve, for 2 hoppers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
we still have.
Second on that motion.
I'll second.
Second on that, then roll call on 2 hoppers. Somebody's gonna get a price on it, we'll get them ordered.
Steve and
So it doesn't, the ball doesn't get dropped, it's the same, to be honest, we don't know.
Who is somebody?
Somebody, just gonna make a phone call.
Well, you'll have information for that, in our main meeting anyway, won't you? What price amount we're gonna be, who we're getting from.
Maybe we can, phone call, find out how much the hoppers are gonna cost.
Yeah.
We can find out what they were last year, we can go with that company. I'll make a phone call, find out what they cost. You have to send.
Information will be available at the main meeting, before the yards all around.
Get going on this so we can get the phone calls going, we gotta get 2 hours. We find out the price before next month's meeting.
You wanna go eat fish tomorrow night?
So we have the motion in a second, we do a roll call and then.
Well, it's the last Friday in the Lent deal.
On 2 hoppers, trustee White, Delgare,
yes.
Hickman,
Yes.
Krugman,
Yes.
Yes.
Waterman, passed unanimous.
Move on to prevailing wage ordinance, it's another ordinance that we've done this year. Get a motion to accept the same prevailing wage, same as last year.
We're just reaffirming the
Just
ordinance from
reaffirming.
last
Just
year.
reaffirming.
And again, this does not mean that we
Is
actually.
the rate on
pay it,
here that I'm not seeing?
Because the Rock Island
Well, what-
City's not paying prevailing wage for their mowers and stuff like that.
This is for outside contractors that do work for the city.
Yeah, mowers,
Major
no, that's
contractors.
Making sure, because I know we had this discussion, I just trying to clarify it.
mowing and cleaning and all that's exempted.
I'll make a motion, we reaffirm ordinance 2011-04-2 for 2012.
Second on that? Second by Sherry Krugman. And then roll
We
call.
got numbers again.
2011-04-02.
We left the
And
others.
since we're not,
Did I? I'm sorry. Well, no,
we're not spending money on that one, I just need a show of hands all in favor of it. 6, porta potties and garbage cleanup. Anybody wanna do that again this year at the, boat ramp and?
two minimum, yes, one at the boat ramp, one at the pavilion,
What?
Porta
Garbage,
potties.
garbage hopper or porta potty?
porta potties.
What do we need a porta potty at the boat ramp for?
So all the people coming in off the river aren't using the back of your garage?
The only thing I ever seen in that porta potty is garbage and broken
Really?
styrofoam coolers.
You know, that's
And a
easy.
bunch of dirty diapers if they make it that far, usually they're somewhere between there and the river anyway. What is the porta potties, what are they costing
They were $65 a piece.
per month?
Per month.
We have them for,
How much, 75?
6 or 7 months.
65
It'd be-
each.
Yeah, I think they were, unless they've gone up, they were 65 last year.
$500 a year for one, right?
It's, yeah, like $120 a month.
$130.
for everybody
Thirty.
else.
I was figuring seven, nine, so $749, so
September, we have been doing it
$8,000 a year
6 months.
for two of them. And that'd come out of building and grounds.
Building grounds. About that.
Well, I just never saw that about using, where are they gonna place it this year? They can't place it where they've been placing it.
No.
So we're gonna place
We
it
would have to
on
find a spot,
the north.
maybe, where Russ Brown's house used to be, I would think would probably be a better spot. Well, it's on this side of the,
I never saw it being used, except to throw garbage into.
I guess I did, so.
Okay. And then the garbage pickup, I see that we got a Conrad disposal price over here, is that a monthly, a quarterly, what's that, that 45.57, is that per month?
That's a garbage out here.
That's
That'll be the
that's
regular
the
one,
garbage
okay,
can.
That's a regular garbage can.
That's what I just sent my check in for 3 months.
So that's quarterly?
Yes.
And
We
what
have
do
two out here at the garage,
Well, there's,
Well,
You're
you're,
only
one they
charge
never
for-
did pick up.
we've got all 3 of them here. We got one in the back and the other one there. And then whatever we decide, if we decide to go with them, then one will go back with the pavilion. Right. there's 3.
service, yeah, services for 2 cans, but they've always cut us some slack on that. That gal's a sweetheart. She goes out of her way.
Okay, so how much is that gonna be? Very
That'd be $180 a year.
One should be at the pavilion.
Yeah.
Right,
One at the pavilion, one down the pavilion.
We get, and then one here at the hall.
so the price
We
is
got 3
changing, we're just
cans.
relocating the can?
Yeah. And they'll actually
The
come
price
pick them
will
up.
change.
They've always done that in the past. They'll pick them up right where the cans are at.
Right.
Okay. And when do we propose to relocate a can to the boat ramp area?
Whenever we call and get that started.
Probably wait another month.
They usually don't.
I knew that was coming.
Call them tomorrow.
I don't blame you.
Call them
Jerry,
tomorrow.
Jerry, I'll help you load it in the back of this truck.
All right.
Take it out after the meeting, how's that?
I've already picked up 2 big garbage bags full this year already.
Now, just because I'm curious, they only come once a week for the village then? Because I know they've got a service, well, they'll come twice a week.
I think Conrad's been coming twice.
Well, no, they are down here twice a week, but you gotta pay extra for it.
I think they're only picking up.
They get me on Mondays, but they will do it Monday and
They're
Thursday.
doing the kids
Monday or Thursday.
twice a week because he,
Yeah, I've only seen them pick up once.
You could start with one, or if it.
well, and yeah, and I guess we can reevaluate what the
Is Conrad cheaper than Allied?
Yes,
Little
yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Cause Allied, they raise the prices for the fuel.
No, they're-
Conrad's is cheaper.
Yeah, we switched 2 years ago.
So then we wanna go ahead and get, somebody will make a motion
Okay, so
for.
Well, we don't
Building
need to
and
go
grounds
once a week, cause we
Yes,
recycle.
that's correct.
Yeah, but you're paying $43.50 for once a week.
Somebody will
Porta
make a
potties are
motion.
gonna come through county,
County,
county waste, isn't that the case we did it last year?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but still.
Somebody will make a motion on
That's-
porta potties and garbage pickup this year.
Do you guys take recycled plastic?
Anybody?
I'll make the motion.
Where did you get the crab out?
Richard, make a motion on porta potties and garbage. Get a second on that? Second by Chad. Richard Waterman made a motion.
Okay, yeah, Steve make the motion,
Okay.
Richard second.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well then, Steve or Richard.
Okay.
Then roll call on that if you would, Mike.
Trustees White,
Yes.
Dellier,
Yes.
Winkelmann,
Yep.
Bergman,
Yes.
Waterman.
Yes.
And then
6, I've got a bill here for the road salt over over last winter for $80 from Hannah Township. Up there. I don't know if you guys want to approve that bill. So we got 1 ton, it's $80 a ton. That's a
Where is it?
truckload. Huh?
Where is it?
Well, it's been spread on the road over the winter. There's still a little bit left in the truck, needs to be shoveled out. Shoveled out or mixed with.
It might be too late.
No, it's mixed with,
Oh, you got beet juice in
it's
it.
got beet juice in it, so it's just like sand all the time. Anyway, that's a bill.
Are we gonna store the balance here and,
There's probably a wheelbarrow full maybe in the truck. I'm just gonna take it back up there and shovel it out, sweep it out there at his storage area. And then make provisions to be able to order 1 to 3 tons next year if we need, because he has to order his in February every year. $80 a ton, can't hardly be, can't buy that cheap anywhere else. So if you guys wanna approve that, then we'll.
How much was it?
$80 for.
Make a motion to pay the Hannah Township salt bill
Motion by
of
Steve.
$80.
Second on that? Second by Sherry.
And while we're on bills, I got a bill here for a 50-pound bag of grass seed from East Moline Feed for $101.40 that was put up on the hill.
Okay, need to make a motion to pay that, then it's got that on there. Did you do that?
Make a motion to pay the two together.
No, we'll do them separate if you want.
One second.
Better.
Okay, well, we got the one motion for the salt.
that,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Pass
passed.
the motion to the salt and that's money.
Okay, we'll call in the salt.
Okay, trustees White,
Yes.
Dellier,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
yes.
Krugman,
Yes?
Waterman,
Yes.
unanimous.
And then a motion on grass seed.
I make a motion that Steve Alligator gets reimbursed for the grass that he bought for the Andrea and Julie Court shoulder work.
I second it.
Second by Richard.
Yeah.
And roll call on that.
It was $101.40
$0.40.
to
140.
reimburse the Steve Alligator.
Okay, on the motion, trustees White,
Yes.
Dellier,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Krugman,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
unanimous.
And HCEDP dues, if we wanna continue with them. I haven't used them, they're there, they're available, they've got a lot of things going on, it's just a matter of us, using them, taking advantage of what they do for us, what they do for the entire community.
It's worth it. I'll make a motion.
That's a yearly fee, right? That's
Yeah,
yearly.
it's a yearly thing.
$75, I'll second it.
Motion made by Leo, second by Rich.
Second by Rich.
Trustees White,
Yes.
Dellier,
Yes.
Hinkleman,
Yes.
Krugman,
Yes.
Waterman,
Yes.
unanimous.
That would have been another miscellaneous. And last item, we get the 2 minutes from February 2 and March 1 meeting. Everybody's had a chance to read them?
I have a question though, before we do that. In my packet, I have a March financial report, but it's not on the agenda for approval or any, or discussion. I think it's not listed on the agenda. Why isn't financials listed on the agenda?
I just brought the financial report from Rick to give you guys to look at. We haven't approved any of those quite some time, so I thought rather than argue about them, let's give you the information and talk about them sometime.
Well, I'd really like to talk about the whole concept of what's going on. Did you ever get a determination from the attorney about our suspension of the treasurer being legitimate?
I didn't ask. Richard
Well, we
asked.
did, and apparently,
Well,
you know, he was gonna give us responses, but I never heard anything from anybody, and I just kinda sitting here waiting, wondering what's going on with it.
he said basically, whenever there's two parties that disagree on a contract, or a rule, or an ordinance or something, he said, basically the only way to take care of that is to go to court. Said, you know,
Okay, so I'm really confused. He said, but he told us that he was gonna give everything in writing.
Well, nobody, did anybody give him something in writing to ask?
He was asked specifically at the board meeting to make a determination on
Okay, well, I haven't called him back up, so I'm gonna guess that my stance on it is that it's not available. You guys have the other stance that it is available, and I guess he's in the middle. Rather than to argue,
that. Yeah.
it has to go,
It's a sad story.
it has to go that direction.
I don't get it, wins out of this as a lawyer because he's making money on this act.
And that was the only piece of advice that he gave me out in the parking lot when I left. Thank you for coming. He said, the only person that wins when you go to court is the attorneys. He said, communication is the best.
Well, Jim, we've tried to communicate and we've asked repeatedly for the information. If you want me to drag the emails back out, the written documentation so that there was no miscommunication about what I was asking you for, why haven't you provided it?
I provided you everything that you
No,
needed.
Jim, you have not provided me
Leo,
what I
listen,
asked you for.
Listen, Leo, you had 35 days to talk to me if there was something
Jim,
important
I
that
told
wanted
you
to
why
talk
I
about.
wasn't gonna talk to you privately and off to the side.
Okay.
And I gave you all those specifics, and again, under the Freedom of Information Act, I asked you for all that information, and I still haven't got it. So apparently you can just blow everybody off then.
Well, who's the Freedom of Information officer?
No, Jim. Jim, here's
Leo,
the
Leo,
deal.
it's
We
gonna
asked
come
the
to- it's gonna
clerk,
come to nothing,
we asked
Leo.
the clerk specifically
It's
for
gonna
this
come to nothing, Leo.
information. And here we are again.
If you don't wanna talk to me rationally outside of here about the problem that you.
Jim, I can't talk to you rationally in here about it because you don't wanna deal with it.
I have dealt with it.
No, you haven't. It was very simple, very simple pieces of information I asked you for, and you did not provide
Do
them.
you
I'm
have the
done.
authority?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Leo.
No, I am not accepting that.
Motion closed.
You are totally out of order, Jim White, totally out of order.
Thing.
Well, have a good night, Leo.
I am going to
Thank you
do
for
that,
coming in.
now that I'm leaving.
Difference of opinion.
No, it's not a difference of opinion, you're
It's a
out
very
of
big difference
control.
of opinion, Leo. Sorry you feel that way. Is there a motion then to accept the minutes?
Got a motion in it.
We have a second.
No. Motion to not accept the minutes.
Well, you can't make a motion not to, but you can make one and then have it fail for lack of a second. Was there a
I would
motion
also
to?
like to ask why the February 9th minutes are not on this agenda again, they've been omitted again.
That's that communication skills thing.
Oh, the communication is there, you answer emails, you feel like you answer.
Anybody
why
got
haven't.
anything they
That's
wanna
why
say
they're
tonight?
on there.
Thank you, dear.
The thing I'd like to say is I thought Rich was gonna send that lawyer, something in the email or something about that decision. Did you send it to him?
No, I didn't.
Did you say?
Well, then that's probably why
That's
you
what he
didn't
said,
get
he
the
said.
answer you wanted.
Give him in writing your question and he will answer.
Motion
Yeah,
to
good
adjourn.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Wonderful. Have a wonderful Good Friday and a good Easter.
It doesn't take too much.